India is witnessing one of the biggest infrastructure transformations in its history. New airports, metro networks, industrial corridors, data centers, and smart cities are being developed at a pace the country has never seen before. And behind this rapid growth are engineers and innovators developing solutions that ensure that these structures remain safe and durable for decades to come. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Leadership Lounge with the CEO magazine. I am Shweta, and today I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Santosh Gosai, the founder director of 3R Joints and Seals Pvt Limited. With over 3 decades of experience in the engineering and infrastructure sector, Mr. Gosai has built a company specializing in expansion joints and structural movement solutions that help ensure the safety, durability, and long-term performance of some of the India's most significant infrastructure projects. Let's welcome Mr. Gosai to the show. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. How have you been?
Thank you so much for calling me and selecting me. I'm a profile for this particular episode, and I've been good. Thank you so much.
Okay. So the very first thing that I would like to ask you is about your professional journey. You have spent more than 3 decades in engineering, working across India and Middle East. So what was the motivation behind starting your own company after spending so much of years in jobs?
Well, as a professional civil engineer, I had been serving some industry from very early time, almost 30 years back. I had worked in Middle East and some of the Indian Fortune 500 companies.
Okay.
I was involved in construction at site as a civil engineer. So major part of I would say one decade goes into construction at sites. So in that, while working, I find that their expansion joints, they're merely a very small part of a building or a structure, you would say, but it was having a very powerful impact on the overall, life cycle of a building. Because I generally saw that there are a lot of problem arising out of poor installation of expansion joints. And the kind of expansion joint we used to really in the past do were not as comparatively possible as we have here today. So that realization itself made me think about, giving some specialized work in the industry. And that realization helped me to, start this 3R Joint as a company. So we provide a complete solution for the expansion joint, which is normally overlooked by the industry or the experts, I would say, or the construction contractor.
What exactly are expansion joints and how are they creating so much impact in a building life cycle or
Yeah, that's very important. Very good question. Expansion and seismic joint system, basically there are two kind of joints. There are 4-5 kinds of joints in a building. When it comes to expansion joint, there are predetermined gaps. Generally, they are designed by the consultant or a structural consultant, depending upon the seismic zone area. Right.
Okay.
So it's a predetermined gaps in a building to accommodate the movements because of the shrinkage or the creep that is happening because of the thermal expansion and contraction of a building. During summer, the building expands and inventory contracts. So to accommodate those movements, generally we have to keep expansion joint in the building so that it accommodate those movements and thereby avoid the cracking of the building. So once the joints are properly placed and installed at site, what happens is it will cater to the life cycle of your structure. And if they are not properly treated or designed, they will lead into the cracking of the building, thereby lots of leakages happening into the building and then spoiling of the concrete. And thereby a lot of nuisance value will be added to the structure. So that way, the importance of expansion joint is very important at the design stage itself. Most of the good architects or the consultants, they take very good care about designing part. Nowadays there are many joints. They are into basically as low as wide as 500 mm. So we are as a company, we had also executed projects, iconic projects with 500 in gap. So they are basically called as a seismic joints moments. They accommodate depending upon the zone, a seismic zone. India is divided into 5 seismic zones. So based on that movement of the earthquake movements, the structural consultant designed the bit of the joints, and thereby we serve those joints. We do the design, manufacturing, and installation of the systems. So I would let me make a perspective. What is expansion joint?
Of course.
Any building or a structure, just like as we breathe, the structure also breathes.
Okay.
हम जैसे सांस लेते हैं, structure भी सांस लेता है because of the expansion, contraction, thermal changes in the temperature. Every structure has that movement. So to accommodate those movement in a way that it should look architecturally good, structurally it will perform well. I am looking smart enough, good enough from the facade or from body, but internally my organ should be also equally important. So architect looks at the architectural aspect of a building or a facade, and the structural consultant look after the internal part of it. That is how we compare it with the human body. A structure that requires, there are different factors that determine expansion joint application or design. What kind of a joint it is, what is the width of the joint, what is the movement capability, how much movement is happening, 25%, 50%, 100%, depending upon the area or the seismic zone requirements.
Yeah.
Then what kind of what is the location of the joint, whether it is on the external facade, whether it is in basement, whether it is in extra podium slabs, whether it is in interior, whether it is in the terrace. So these are the location of the joints. Okay. So every location has different designs suitable for that area. Okay. So that will accommodate, at the same time it will also structurally perform. Now coming into a joint where there will be a certain joint will be subjected to loading. Suppose there is a joint passing through a basement. So there will be a lot of car moving around the basement. So it may be passing through that joint. So there will be a loading on the joint. Yeah. So the joint should perform under that dynamic loadings. Sometimes it is a passenger car, sometimes it is a fight in the movement. So heavy duty. Yes. So there will be heavy duty movement, heavy duty movements that will design for that. Sometimes it is very AGV, automatic guided vehicles for an industrial plant. Yeah. Like a glass factory, or say from any factory which have a very heavy duty, like 25 tons, 40 tons, So the wheel load will be 6 tons on a joint. So it should not get deformed. It should perform in the. So those designs are also important at the same time. So so there are various factors that determine the designing of an expansion joint. If there is a joint passing through a structure, it does mean that it should also architecturally look good. Yes. It should not look shabby. And when there's a plate passing through the joint, it will not give you a good look from architecture point of view. So you would always want that it should be pleasing to your eyes. Yeah. And at the same time, it should perform structurally well. So these are the various considerations that we take care while designing a joint, and accordingly we propose it to our customers.
So do you also, like you mentioned that you work on construction, building construction. So do you also provide services to, say railway bridges and...
Yes. We not in terms of the bridges, I would say. Bridges have a joint. Every bridges have that joint, there's a metallic joint just passing through the joint. So we provide the structural kind of a joint to the bridges and the railways as well. Because our joints are basically used in the structures, the civil engineering structures. All civil engineering structure, if it is this plan, if it is joined, proposed by the structural consultant, we are there to serve that. We can do the installation services as well. At the same time, we can the proper design maintain for that particular structure.
Engineering isn't always a profession that gets too much of spotlight, if I say so, but it is the foundation of everything that we build. So what has kept you passionate about engineering after so many years of spending your time?
See, from the early stage itself, engineering basically is, I would say, the first form of civilization in terms of, the habitants we are staying into the building or a structure. Earlier, that was, the nomadic life of the civilization.
Yeah.
So it's all started with engineering, the architecture. Good building, as a normal person or a layman can look at a building from the perspective, facade.
Yeah.
But the real engineering lies behind that, as a structural consultant, because the life cycle of the building keep it safe and standing for decades to come, or the service life of the building.
Yeah.
So one way it gives you the kind of a passion in terms of the engineering involved into the structure. Once a architect that he designs on a paper and that is executed at site, that is itself is a magic kind of a thing. What what you have envisioned, the architect had envisioned in the on paper, and that reality is built by the civil engineer at site. So that passion always incites me, and it excites me at the same time.
So, sir, like I mentioned before, that you have worked in India and Middle East.
Yeah.
What are the differences that you have observed among these two geographic areas?
Yeah. See, basically, in Middle East, they are very quality conscious in terms of high quality, international quality, stringent quality is maintained in Middle East. And now it's, I mean, slowly and steadily it is now coming up in India as way of, quality consistency. One way is that they design the building at the design stage itself, and they look forward to the life cycle of the building at the design stage. Now in India also it's rapidly covering up in terms of quality consciousness, moreover new technologies that is happening in, and the latest subtrends that is when you have to keep updated. They're just more global as such, I would say, the phenomena.
Building a company is never easy. So, if you look back, what has been some of the most challenging times and what are some of the milestones that you have achieved while building 3R?
See, I was always having that idea to, to in my career as a civil engineer, that gives you a mind to give something back to your society in terms of some good technology. So it has always appealed me to have my own set of, from transformation from an employee to an employer. And once that transformation was very important, because I have been working from major companies at a very senior level. But that one thought of, being an employer and giving certain technology that was in my mind, it has given you a free hand. So that particular thought has helped me to, build the TIA group, so that I innovate something different and very critical aspect of a building. It may be very small, it may be overlooked at times by the concerned people, but I thought it has some value in terms of giving added value to the structure, so that it makes the structure safe, it allows the structure to breathe. And at the same time, there are various designs that I had designed, and slowly and steadily we had, over a period of time, we had built that trust among the leading architects, consultant, and contractors as such. And we are among the one of the most trusted brand in expansion joint industry.
Okay. So, were there challenges when you started?
Yes, there were challenges for that. The first of all, that thought itself was a very intriguing in terms of how the people will accept that, industry will accept it. But since I had been working in the Middle East, so I thought, see, the quality will always speak for itself.
Of course.
When even if I started very slow, initially we take over small one or two projects, and we have been fortunate to, I've been working with some of the very top companies, multinational companies, Fortune 500 companies, I would say, of India. We give them one of the small project as a troubleshooter. So they were in a deep trouble. So I thought I would give this opportunity, to make that good for our company. And we delivered the results for that company. And that company, because of that small work, has entrusted a lot of faith in us. So that gave us the gave me the real confidence, to move forward. And slowly then I started promoting among the architects and the consultants, because they are the key people who understand the designing part of it. So once an architect or a consultant understand the aspect and what kind of a service life or what kind of a performance it will have, so they confidence they give you the project to execute. So that confidence slowly and steadily I gain over a period of time. And I've been fortunate to, work 3R as involved in some of the iconic projects of India. Maybe it, I would say the Motera Stadium, one of the largest stadium in the world. There is another complex, commercial complex, I would say, Surat Diamond Bourse. It is world largest structure in terms of space building of the Pentagon. So we had been very fortunate to executing those projects and involved contributing our part of it.
So, sir, every entrepreneur, maybe once, twice, or many number of times, come face to face with moments or decisions that test their conviction. So, what has been the toughest decision that you have had to make while building the company, and what did it teach you?
See, from day one, actually, we believe in our quality. Quality is our culture, not a mere checklist, I would say. So once understood that the quality is important if you have to live for a longer period of time, and interest that trust among the our customers and the clients, the quality speaks for itself. Rather than despite of the commercial pressure, we insisted that the quality remains our the primary objective to delivering this project to the customers, and that itself has helped us to over a period of time keep that trust among the architects and the consultant apart from our contractors who always interested with our repeat businesses.
If we look at India right now, the infrastructure in India is growing rapidly. India is building airports, new metro corridors, and smart cities, data centers. So, from your perspective, since you are in the industry, are we simply building faster or are we building better?
I would say, fortunately, both. We are doing both in terms of the rapid expansion that is happening with the government of India rapidly expanding across. So we have ample opportunity in terms of your growth. The expansion in industry itself is almost 3,000 or 3,500 crores, and going at a CAGR of 8% per annum. So it lies a lot of opportunities as such. So if good companies that embrace technology with the fundamental engineering, they will be the leading in the future for sure, for that matter.
When you first entered the field of engineering, it must have looked very different from what it is now. So, looking back, what do you think has changed the most? And if you were to look in the future, what are the changes that are happening that we get to see in the next, say, a decade?
There is a lot of differences in terms of everything, I would say, and the terms of pace that is happening nowadays is more of a AI generated assisted designs analysis, BIM modeling. There are a lot of things that is happening. In our days that was not the case. It was quite slow in terms of the design detailing and everything. Now everything is on a fast track. Fast track mode. At the same time, I would say it's not about merely completing a job. It should stand to the test of times.
Of course.
So anything associated with the technology should also have that test of time, should be tested over a period of time. But now, because of the AI which is coming in, digitalization that's happening.
Yes.
So I think nowadays it is more easier as compared to what it was during our times.
Like you just mentioned, AI and BIM modeling. So, technology is reshaping the construction industry. Which of these innovations do you believe will have the greatest impact in the industry going forward?
See, now everything, it is all global. So nowadays nothing is like at keeping it at one aspect. It is more of a global. Everything is open. So AI industry will AI digitalization, the analysis, these things happening in the industry will have a lot of impact as such. Because nowadays you can see a building which is erected merely within 2 months.
Yes.
And also because of the fast track developments, the technology that is happening, pre-engineering buildings that is happening. So the structure precast is coming in a big way. So you will see most of the projects, residential, made, commercial, it is coming in all precast modeling. So even most of the stadium what we built was it was one of the precast modeling.
Okay.
So it was built with the minimum amount of manpower. So resources were very less and the maximum output was given. So this impact has definitely made a lot of change, and I see that because of this digitalization or the technology that is happening, um, it is a big challenge for the human resource for that matter. So you have to be totally aware about the digital industry, and at the same time be aware about the AI, data science.
Yeah. So you mentioned that nowadays we see buildings, entire buildings being constructed in a span of 2 months. Are those reliable?
Yeah, very much reliable because the technology is making it happen. Earlier we are not used to that. We used to do cast and situ concrete. Now everything is coming in a pre molded set of segmentation. Even you see the metro, what is happening, the metro expansion. These are all segments that have been joined. They have been cast in situ at one place, pre-casted at one place, and they are joined at a construction site. And so it is all technology that is happening. It was already there. It was in Middle Eastern countries. You see a 20-story, 30-story building within 2-3 months. They complete pre-engineering structures. So now it is mostly catching up in India. So that is a big challenge for in terms of manpower and in terms of skill manpower forces that do the erection works.
Like you mentioned that these pre-engineering things, pre-casted models were already being used in Middle Eastern countries and now coming to India. So what do you think it will take for Indian engineering companies to compete with the very best in the world?
See, already Indians are going top notch among the year recently seen the launch of Vikram.
Yes.
So it gives a very high to all Indians. It makes us feel proud that average age of a 28 of that mission, Skyroot, that made the space orbit installation. Our team, it is more about a culture. It's more about a culture, a quality that we intend to provide, and the competition. What we look at global in terms of global map. No, so it all depends upon your culture within the industry or within India. How you want to approach that. Quality speaks for itself, be it India or abroad. So their culture, they imbibe itself in their own culture that quality has to be maintained. So slowly it's catching up in India, and over a period of time, Indians are leading all the way across global platforms in all the spheres of not only construction, all spheres of domain.
If we talk about the India's engineering and infrastructure sector, where do you see it heading in the coming next decade?
Oh, very much. There's so much of this government has a lot of expansion that is in terms of hospital, healthcare, infrastructure development, metro rails, your aviation industry is coming. So there is so many development that is happening. On almost, I would say, 2,60,000, 64,000 crores of investment that has been made by this government, and there's a rapid expansion that is happening, and it is ample opportunity for everyone, those who are entrepreneurs, the mind, or even for the resources. There are allied industry that will come with this industry. So infrastructure is happening in a very rapid way, and a lot of opportunities are there for Indians to grow.
Looking ahead, what is your vision for 3R and the role your company would play in this?
We as a 3R believe in our tagline is like reliable, robust, and resilient.
Okay.
We want to be one of the most trustworthy company in terms of providing world class expansion joint system to the industry, and we were most trusted among the best part of it is that our systems have been enduring acceptance by the architects, consultants, and the contractors, and we have ample references as of now seeing our journey, we have been now one of the trusted brand in the expansion industry. Coming into the future, yes, we would be like to be known as one of the leading organization trusted by most architect consultant and the contractors across India and globally as well. So it's an Indian origin company with a world class international standards products.
Okay. So, are there any plans for you to expand into other countries as well?
We had already been doing some projects in other Middle East and other SAARC nations.
Okay.
We do supply our products. We give technical support, and if requires, we train the team for the installation process. So already been involved in that. But yes, in terms of opening a setup entirely, that will depends upon the kind of requirements and the kind of what we get from market and market demands.
Okay. As you have just mentioned that there is ample opportunity for everyone who is an entrepreneur or looking to start a company. So, what advice would you give to young engineers and entrepreneurs who dream of building world-class companies in India?
See, first of all, I would tell them to dream big, to initiate the everything happens with the thought process. If you think you are an employee, you will remain an employee. You can be a top employee, you can be a CEO of the company. If you think otherwise to be employer, that's the difference.
Yes.
So there is a small difference between employee and employer, the mindset. If you want to employ an employee as an employer, your thought process begins with the entire spectrum of the arena, right? So maintain the quality. Remember, your integrity should be there, strong integrity with you, and don't stop learning. Learning is a big process. It is a life is a learning curve. So you should start not never stop learning, and you should be increasingly about asking questions. You should not merely just say what is happening. You should be inquisitive about what is happening, how it is happening, and why I cannot do that. So that mindset need to change if you want to really be employee in that sense. Even big organization having bigger CEOs earning so much, but that the one difference that changes that from is an employee and other is an employer. That is a mindset that's important.
Okay. And finally, when people look back on your journey years from now, what impact would you hope your work has made on them, and not just on India's infrastructure, but on the engineering profession as well?
See, as a group, as a company, I believe that if you are traveling through an airport, or passing through a hospital building, or staying in a hotel, or as we are sitting in this project or this particular building, without realizing that we contributed to this project in some sense, which is not maybe visible to you. But as an engineering, this building is standing because of that support what we executed, and is standing for a decade. That itself will ensure that we had done our part, and we were there at that time when it mattered the most.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here today. It has been a pleasure talking to you. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in to Leadership Lounge with the CEO magazine. We will be back soon with another such episode. Till then, take care.